Hello, everybody. Let's talk about one beautiful poem, I Was My Own Root by Julia D. Burgess. I believe you will enjoy listening to me for about 15 minutes. Let's get going. I want you to have an eye onto these slides. Okay. Here you can see the picture of the poet on the one side, and on the other side, a pictorial illustration of the poem. So I believe having an eye onto this picture, like you see, the poetic persona may be walking on her own route. Route here stands for the path, the journey of your life. Many of us end up walking on the route made by our predecessors, by our society. And many of us may be daring enough to create our own route, our own path of life. Definitely, making our own route or finding the journey of our own life by ourselves is a challenging task. So anyone who feels like or who wants to walk on their own route is creative, inventive, and daring to do so, because walking on our own route is full of challenges. Moving ahead, Julia D. Burgess was born in Puerto Rico in 1914. She made her career with the publication of her articles in newspapers. So she also worked as a journalist. She was a civil rights activist, and she spoke for African women's liberation. She wrote on her legacy of slavery and effects of American imperialism. Her poems deal with the theme of women's liberation and social justice. Okay, such a writer has written this, such a poet has written this poem. And we are very lucky that we are about to study this today. So let's have an eye onto the poem. On the one side, I have presented the poem, and on the other side, I have just tried to present a literal paraphrase of the same. The poem goes like this. I wanted to be like men wanted me to be. I wanted to be like men wanted me to be, an attempt at life, a game of hide and seek with my being, but I was made of nouns. At the beginning of the poem, the poet says that she wanted to become a traditional, docile and submissive wife, as most men would like to marry. Okay? For this, she made a compromise with her inner being. She played a game of hide and seek. She wanted to listen to her parents, to the male members of her society particularly, and she made an attempt to become a traditional woman who would give priority to marriage and having children. But she could not, because she was a modern girl. She was made of nouns. And her feet that were labeled on the promissory earth would not like walking backwards. I want to see the further lines here. But I was made of nouns, and my feet labeled on promissory earth would not accept walking backwards, and went forward, mocking the ashes to reach the keys of new paths. To attain the rewards provided by the progressive society and the world, she ignored all the restrictions created by her society, the patriarchal society, and she kept on walking forward all the time. She did not like to, or her feet did not take her backwards. Walking backwards is a regressive mode, whereas walking forward is a progressive one. She was a progressive girl, a progressive woman. She wanted to enjoy her life in her own way. She ignored the past and the orthodox norms set by her society to restrict the freedom of women. Okay, we understand that much from here. Moving ahead. At each advancing step on my route forward, my back was ripped by the desperate flapping wings of the old guard. It's been very beautifully paraphrased here. Every time she took a forward step, she faced a trouble. Her tradition, society, culture tried the best to drive her back. And therefore, there was a tussle, there was a conflict between her and the old guard, especially the male members of her society, who could not see a woman making a big progress by herself. Okay? So because of this conflict, the poet further says, but the branch was unpinned forever. Here branch is connection and unpinned stands for detachment. So from attachment to her family and society, she got detached. And at each new whiplash, my look separated more and more and more from the distant familiar horizon. The more her society restricted her, the farther away she went from her society as well as from her family. So it separated her from her family and her society, and she went to distant places to enjoy her life freely. Okay, moving ahead. And my face took the expansion that came from within, the defined expression that hinted a feeling of intimate liberation. We know it obviously. When she went far and away from her familiar horizon, she could feel the intimate, pure liberation, freedom. Okay, and that freedom glowed in her face. Her face became brighter with the inner feelings of liberation. A feeling that surged from the balance between my life and the truth of the keys of the new path. Right? At this point, she had to make a balance between her life and the new progress that she was making, leaving behind the old orthodox society. So it's a very challenging thing. She had to maintain a perfect balance between her own progress and her own background. Okay, moving ahead. Already my course now sit in the present. I felt myself a blossom of all the soils of the earth, of the soils without history, of the soils without a future, of the soils with always soil without ages. We can literally say that when she went away, she felt like a blossom without history, base, foundation, root, or origin. So she became a cosmopolitan citizen. She became a member of the entire world. She became a perfect human being, not a citizen of a particular nation, because she went beyond the geographical boundary, the national boundary, ethnic boundary, and periphery. Okay, so she became a free human being, and she started regarding herself a blossom that belonged to all people of all the time, of all the ages, all the epochs, and all the soil without any edges or barriers or borders. So I think the whole world was her home. So she belonged to herself to all the people of all times. Means that she started considering herself as a cosmopolitan citizen, Moving ahead. And I was all in me as was life in me. When she managed to do like this, she felt that she was living her true self without making compromise with her identity and freedom. Here is a refrain again in the poem. Sorry mom, sorry dad, I wanted to be like men wanted me to be. I made an attempt. Of course, I made an attempt, but I could not because I was made of now. Right? The poet wouldn't sing like this. When the heralds announced me at the regal parade of the old guard, the desire to follow me invoked in me, and the homage was left waiting for me. Towards the ending of the poem, the poet makes a reference that some people brought the news about her to the society. They made an announcement. They took her name in the formal gathering of those people. And they took her name as a bad example to give warning to the other women and girls in their society. Therefore, the respect that she deserved because she was doing a great work for herself and she had to be respected, it was left waiting. Okay? She thought that she had to get the respect for her progressive work. Still, the society and the people were not ready to give her the respect she deserved. Even then, point, she did not have any interest in men and their demands. She did not have any desire to follow men, okay, to fall into their trap or to follow their ideology, right? That's what she mentions at the end of the poem. Okay, she was ready to wait for the respect that she deserved, and she was very optimistic that one day the society would change and they would begin to believe her. She did not have any interest in the orthodox rules and regulations made by her society. Interpretation of this poem, right? I want to just read out a few sentences over here. The poem shows how women are controlled by the patriarchal ideology from the past. Okay? Reading this poem, we know about the patriarchy that would restrict women, that would force women to the household's chores. Okay? Just washing and cleaning and taking care of the children and making the bed ready, making their men happy. That like roles were assigned to the women from the past by the patriarchal society. The poem opposes this kind of practice. This is the very first thing. The second thing is about women's liberation. Women are as free as their male counterparts. They are free to choose their own route and find their own destiny. They are free to navigate their journey by themselves. They don't need men to guide them. They are completely free. This idea has been beautifully imparted in the poem. The poem is also about the poet's search for identity as a free human being without any ethnic beliefs or narrow national feelings. So she wants to become a cosmopolitan citizen regarding the entire world as her own home. Breaking the ethnic and national boundaries is very important for her. Okay? So I believe you have understood this matter, and following this poem, right, there is a beautiful exercise. I want all of you to try your best to answer these like questions given in the text. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful time ahead.